Tar's epic flying adventure. Hello everyone and welcome back to our story channel. Are you ready for another amazing adventure with our favorite 8-legged friend? Let's dive into the story of Tar the flying spider. After his big climb up the water spout, Tar the spider loved spending his afternoons on the roof. It was the best seat in the house, with a view of the whole garden. One day, while watching the fluffy clouds drift by, he saw something incredible. A beautiful, colorful kite was dancing in the wind. It swooped and soared, flying higher than any bird he'd ever seen. "Wow!" Tar whispered to himself. "That looks like the most fun thing in the world." And just like that, a new dream sparked in his tiny heart. Tar wanted to fly. He scurried to the very edge of the roof and called down to his friends playing below. "I'm going to fly," he announced proudly. Barnaby the bee buzzed nervously around a rose. "Fly? But spiders don't have wings, Tar. How is that possible?" Fiona the firefly flickered her little light in agreement. "And it's much too windy up there. It's not safe at all." But just like before, when he decided to climb the water spout, Tar was determined. He knew there just had to be a way. He was a spider who never gave up on his dreams. His very first idea was to make his own wings. He searched around and found two small, light leaves that had fallen from a nearby tree. They were the perfect shape. He carefully attached them to his back using his strongest, stickiest silk. He took a deep breath, got a running start, and leaped off the edge of a roof tile with all his might. And he flopped right down. It was a good thing he was a clever spider. He had spun a silk safety line, which caught him just in time. "Okay," he thought, dangling for a moment. "So leaf wings definitely don't work." He climbed back onto the roof, feeling a little disappointed but not ready to quit. He needed a new plan. Looking around the garden, he saw a big, fluffy dandelion seed head. He remembered watching the little seeds float away on the breeze, like tiny parachutes. "That's it," he chirped excitedly. He carefully climbed down to the lawn and onto the dandelion. He grabbed a single fuzzy seed, held on tight, and waited for a gust of wind. A gentle breeze picked him up. He floated for a moment, just a few inches off the ground, before landing softly on a bright pink flower petal. It was a start, but he wanted to go higher, to really soar through the sky like that amazing kite. He knew he needed something bigger, something that could really catch the wind and carry him high up. As he looked around, his sharp spider eyes fell on something bright red, tangled in the branches of the tall oak tree at the edge of the garden. It was a balloon that a child had accidentally let go of. It was big, it was red, and it was pulling against the branches, wanting to fly. It was perfect. Now, getting to the balloon was an adventure all by itself. The balloon was way up in the tall oak tree, far from the house. So, Tar spun a long, silky bridge from the corner of the roof all the way to a branch on the tree. He carefully crossed high above the garden, the wind wobbling his silk tightrope. When he finally reached the balloon, he got to work. He attached several of his strongest silk lines to it, making a little harness for himself. Then, he took a deep breath and chewed through the thin string that held the balloon to the branch. With a little pop, the balloon was free. Whoosh! The balloon shot upwards, pulling Tar along with it. He held on tight to his silk lines, his heart thumping with excitement. He was flying! He was really, truly flying! The wind carried him high above the house and the garden. He could see everything. He saw his friends, Barnaby and Fiona, who looked like tiny little dots on a green carpet. He saw the park across the street, and houses and streets he had never even known existed. The view was even more amazing than the one from the top of the waterspout. The world was so much bigger than he had ever imagined. He sailed on the wind for what felt like hours, laughing his tiny spider laugh. It was the most wonderful feeling. He quickly learned how to pull on his silk lines to steer the balloon, a little to the left, a little to the right. He could dip down and then soar back up on the currents of air. He was the world's first spider pilot. He waved his little legs at the birds who flew past, surprised to see a spider so high in the sky. As the sun began to set, the sky turned into a beautiful painting of orange, pink, and purple. The air grew cooler, and the balloon started to slowly drift back down toward the earth. Tar wasn't scared. He guided it carefully, using his steering lines to aim for the soft, green grass of his own familiar garden. He landed with a gentle bump, right next to the fragrant rose bushes where Barnaby the bee often worked. His friends rushed over, buzzing and flickering with pure excitement. "You did it, Tar! You really did it! You flew!" They all cheered. They had watched his whole journey from below, their worries turning to amazement. Barnaby zipped around his head in a happy circle, and Fiona lit up the evening with her brightest flashes. Tar, tired but absolutely thrilled, had learned another very important lesson that day. Sometimes your biggest dreams might seem impossible, but if you get creative, think outside the box, and look at the world just a little differently, you might just find a way to make them come true. And he also learned that sometimes the best adventures happen when you let go, trust the journey, and just go where the wind takes you. I hope you enjoyed Tar's high-flying adventure. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. We would love for you to suggest other stories or characters you'd like to hear about next. And tell us where you are watching from in the comments below so we can send you a special shout out in our next video. Here's a fun question for you. If you had a magic balloon, where in the world would you go? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, friends. Bye for now.